Tonight for dinner, I'm making one of my favorite dinners, stuffed tomatoes. To start with, I am going to brown some chicken Italian sausage with the casings removed, and I want this to get almost cooked before I start adding in my veggies. It's really important as this meat cooks that you get in there and break up those big chunks so that they make small chunks, because we're going to be stuffing this into tomatoes. Now that the meat is brown and it's in small pieces, it's time to add in garlic, a little olive oil, chopped onions, and finely chopped mushrooms. I love putting mushrooms in this dish because I have some picky eaters that don't enjoy mushrooms, but if I chop them really small and I put it in some kind of ground meat product, they never know they're there. And it's a great way to stretch meat too. And they're also super healthy. While those brown, I'm gonna prep my tomatoes by spraying some olive oil in a large baking dish. And then I'm gonna cut the tomatoes in half, like I'm gonna cut slices. I'm using beefsteak tomatoes, and these are gorgeous and huge. And then over a bowl, I'm gonna gut the tomatoes, and I'm not gonna throw that stuff away because that's goodness. We don't wanna waste. You can actually blend it and put it in tomato sauce, like a marinara sauce, but we're actually gonna chop that tomato gut out because we're going to put it into the filling. I'm going to take about 1 cup of that mixture, the tomato guts, and I'm going to finely chop it because I'm going to add it back into the pot. I'm also going to reserve that juice and use it as well. Before I stuff the tomatoes, I want to season them with salt and pepper. Now's a great time to preheat the oven to 350 degrees while we are finishing the filling. So there are those tomato guts. I'm sure there's a better word for that, but I'm sliding them in, and the juice that's in those tomato insides, along with some of the reserve juice that I'm about to put in, is going to be used to scrape up all the brown bits of the chicken sausage that has stuck to the bottom and sides of the pot. And you want all of that because that is great flavor. So give all that a good mix, and then we're gonna add in some marinara sauce. This could be homemade or jarred, and rice, already cooked rice. You need about 2 cups of this. I always have these bags of basmati rice and or brown rice that's already cooked from Trader Joe's in my freezer. Greatest time saver ever. But if you have leftover rice, this would be a great use for leftover rice. All right, filling's done, so we're ready to spoon it into those halved tomatoes. And we're gonna put little balls of mozzarella cheese in the center of the filling. So we completely forgot and then had to put it in after we had mounded the filling on. So once you put half of the filling in each tomato, you wanna pop in a little baby mozz, and then just make sure that it's covered so it's a nice little surprise when you go to eat it later. Then you're going to want to put some fresh basil. This is just some basil leaves that have been chiffonade, and then panko, which is Japanese breadcrumbs, followed by some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And then I like to spritz the top with olive oil because that gives the panko some fat, so when it's in the oven, it'll help crisp it up. These are gonna go into that oven for about 20 minutes. Everything inside has already been cooked, so right now you're just trying to cook the tomatoes and to crisp up the top and melt the cheese inside. These tomatoes make a wonderful dinner. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.